Hi everyone and welcome to the Multi-Passionate podcast. Today's episode is about throw out the box. You're a multi-passionate and that's your superpower. Hi, welcome to the very first episode. If you're listening to this, I already know two things about you. One, you're a multi-passionate person with a million ideas, skills and dreams. And two, you've probably spent years, maybe even your whole life, wondering why you can't just stick to one thing. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are not the problem. You're not flaky, unfocused, or confused. You are probably a multi-passionate, which is why you clicked on this episode. Being a multi-passionate is not a weakness, it is your greatest strength. And as soon as I realized this changed my entire life. And it can change yours too, so that's why I'm starting this podcast. So the world has tried to fit you into a box that was never meant for you. And guess what? You don't belong in a box. You belong in your own universe. A world that you get to create, where all of your passions, your talents, and ideas can exist and thrive. Now, if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Esme Papa. I'm a business coach, multi-passionate entrepreneur, singer, voiceover artist, author. I've lived in 5 different cities across the world, built multiple income streams, and learned how to turn my passion into a business instead of a source of stress. But it wasn't always like this. For years, I struggled with feeling lost and feeling like I had to pick one thing and stick to it. But I was always bored after a while, and every time I tried, I felt like another piece of me I was choosing. Every time I tried to choose something, I ended up with a path that I couldn't take the other path anymore. For years, I struggled with feeling lost and feeling like I had to pick one thing and stick with it forever. Every time I stuck to one thing, I felt like I was abandoning all of my other passions. For years, I struggled with feeling lost and like I had to pick just one thing and stick with it forever. But every time I tried to stick to one thing, I felt like I was abandoning all of my other passions and talents. So I was never really happy. So if you've ever felt like you just don't fit into traditional career paths, and if you've ever been told to just pick one thing, but it felt like a death sentence and felt so suffocating, then this podcast is for you. Because let me tell you right now, you were never meant to choose just one passion if you are multi-passionate. You were meant to create something uniquely yours. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Alright, let's talk about the lost feeling that you may experience, because I know that this hits home for so many of us. Have you ever had that moment where someone asks, so what do you do? And your brain is just so panicky, like, oh my god, how much time do you have? Because I want to tell you all about all of that I am, all of the things I am. Because you don't just do one thing and you have many hobbies. You're a very multifaceted person. So for me, I am a creative, a writer, a coach, a designer, an entrepreneur, a singer. So you may be standing there thinking, like, how much time do you have? So I can explain all of the things I am, which you shouldn't have to apologize or you shouldn't have to apologize for all of the things that you are and all of the passions that you have. For years, I struggled with this as well. Every time I started something new, I thought, okay, this is the thing. I'm gonna walk down this path. It's gonna be the one and only thing for me, and I'm supposed to stay on this path forever. I feel my calling. This is it. And then a few months or years later, I'd feel drawn to something else. And every single time I think like, oh, why am I like this? Why can't I just stick to one thing? Now I have to start over again. I'm never happy. I'm never satisfied. And why can't I just be like everyone else? And then one day I realized that I was never lost. I'm just a multi-passionate. And the real problem wasn't having too many passions or too many possibilities. It was that I believed that I had to choose. Guess what? You don't have to choose between your passions. So that's the lie we've all been told, that real success means picking one thing or niching down. But who decided that? Is the society telling you that? But really, it doesn't go up for all of the multi-talented, multi-passionate, multi-people. Think about it. Oprah didn't just stay a talk show host. She also became an author. She has a podcast. She's an interviewer. She has a business. Even Lady Gaga went from music to acting to business, and Rihanna with her own makeup line. Just examples. These people thrive because they embrace being multi-passionate instead of fighting it. They know that they are the brand. And that's what I want you to know as well. Now, I know that you're thinking, okay, Esme, that sounds great, but how do I actually make this work? So, you combine your passions without feeling scattered and all over the place by skill stacking or passion stacking. Skill stacking is the key to turning your multi-passionate nature into a powerful business strategy. So instead of choosing one thing and abandoning everything else that you're good at, you combine your passions and skills in a way that makes you unique in the market. Let me give you an example from my own life. I am a business coach, but I'm also a singer and a voiceover artist and a content creator. On paper, those things don't really seem related, right? But when I stack them together, it makes perfect sense, and I get to live out all of my passions in my business. And no one can really replicate what I'm doing because they don't have all of those skills and passions like I do, and they can't really mimic that, So you are your own competition in a way, because really there is no one else like you with the same passions that has the same messaging to other people. I realized about being multi-passionate, and I was like, the world needs to know this, and especially the world of creative entrepreneurs need to know that they don't have to choose, and they can be inspired and continue to grow and thrive and, live life happily based on their passions and earn a lot of money with that as well, because once you flow, you go. So the skill stack of your passions is what makes you irreplaceable, because it makes you a personal brand. So before we finish this first episode, I want you to do something, a little assignment. You can take out your phone, or you can open the notes app, or you can get your notebook. And I want you to write down a list on the left of every passion, skill, weird little thing you're obsessed with. And don't filter yourself and don't overthink it. Just write. And then when you look at that list afterwards, I want you to look at the list and look at what they may have in common or how they might be combined. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Maybe you're a writer who loves psychology and storytelling. Then you might be great as a personal brand strategist. Or maybe you're a fitness trainer who also loves public speaking. Then you can be a motivational speaker in the health sector. Or maybe you love fashion, photography, and social media. Then you can be a content creator and a photographer in one, because you can just do both for your clients, for example. You see how it works? You just don't pick one thing. You learn how to combine and stack your passions, your skills, your talents. And it is the start of a new way of being a business owner, being a creative. So if this episode hit home for you, if you resonated with it, if you liked it, please send it to a friend who you feel like could also be a multi-passionate. And please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!